Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be over the latest episode of Daryl Dixon, and just kind of going into a basic little review, discussion topics, little things that they kind of emphasized within the episode. And really, this episode, it was not so much about the reveals and the solving of mysteries or what have you. It was more of a filler episode. We got more background on certain characters, what their true motivations really look like, and one character I really wanted to cover with this episode because we got a little bit more about Quinn. Now, Quinn, as we revealed in the last episode, that he is claiming to be the father of Laurent. Obviously, there is the possibility that he is lying because within just these couple of episodes and with the first one where during the flashback sequence and everything, we can kind of establish that Quinn is a manipulative, self-centered, narcissistic piece of crap. And just from what he kind of said to Isabel in that flashback episode where he saves her and the point where he's trying to brush off Lily, you can really kind of see within that conversation that he has with Isabel how he says, "Oh, I'm the one that always saves you, I'll protect you, blah blah blah." He's really just kind of pointing out that he wants control over Isabel. He sees her as maybe a prize or just his property, and he's really doing what he can to show that he is in control, and he wants to hold on to that control and manipulate her any way he can because he knows that she is unstable in that point in her life, that she has obviously tried to kill herself. He reveals this, that he took her to the hospital and everything when this happened. So really, we got more of that in this episode. This whole episode really kind of centers around Condron going after Daryl because he still wants his revenge. And Daryl, as we saw at the end of the last episode, he fell through that roof. And this episode kind of starts up with him in the building or what have you. He's in water and he's having a dream sequence where we saw this bit in the trailer where Laurent is surrounded by walkers, and we get another angle of the scene where Daryl is behind a gate where he can't get to him. He's yelling for him, and these walkers are coming upon him, and he thinks that Laurent's gonna die, but this is the scene where Laurent goes into praying, and it looks to be like he's willing the walkers away from him. Like they kind of engulf him at first, but then they separate and kind of leave the area. And obviously you understand, or you realize pretty much right away this is a dream sequence because this is Daryl screaming for this kid and these walkers are just leaving him, and it kind of feeds into the theory about Laurent in general, that he is some kind of miracle child or he is immune. I don't think he's going to be completely immune. I think that would be pushing it a little bit. But then Daryl wakes up, and after this dream sequence, and he pushes on, because at this point Laurent is still missing from the rooftop. He overheard Isabel and Daryl talking about everything, and he takes off. And so Daryl's out looking for him. We run into our pigeon guy again. Unfortunately, he doesn't make it. He gets gunned down by these guys who are going after his pigeons to eat them. But I mean, people are going to be eating whatever they can find, and I'm sure pigeons are maybe some sort of delicacy. I don't know. But it's the end of the world, so they're going to eat with it, whatever they can find. So Pigeon Dude doesn't make it, and we just kind of progress to the episode about them going on the search for Laurent, but Laurent actually gets picked up at the Eiffel Tower because we see this big scene where he's at the Eiffel Tower, and the walkers are behind a wall of sandbags, and we saw within the trailers and other things that this is where Laurent kind of peeks through a hole in there, and then we see a walker bend down, peek through the same hole and see him, and they start to overtake the wall, coming out after him. And right at this scene, this is where Daryl and Isabel pull up, and they're going after him to save him, but then these other guys show up, and it turns out that the other guys are there on the direction of Quinn. Now, there was kind of a interesting bit within this. We see these walkers kind of wandering around, and one seems to be what looks like a CRM military uniform. Now, this can be completely, really kind of stretching it because we really haven't seen anything as far as CRM. I really think they're going to save a lot of the CRM stuff for the Rick and Michonne series. But, so we see this little bit, and then after this, this is where Laurent gets picked up by these men, and it gets taken away, and we see that those men were sent by Quinn. Now, one of those guys actually gets killed. Another one gets left behind, and then they have the driver take off with Laurent. And so this guy is questioned by Daryl and Isabel, and Daryl gives him this whole story about this kid he knew when he was little. Turns out it's total bullshit. It's just something that Daryl made up, or so he says. and he tortures this guy to get information how to get back to the nightclub through a back entrance. He makes his way and eventually feeds this guy off to walkers because, I mean, why does he care? Why does he want this guy around? He's just a liability at this point. So after we get here, we get Daryl back in the nightclub. He gets Laurent. He's on his way out, and this is where he's confronted by Quinn, and he takes him down because obviously I don't think Quinn's much of a fighter. Yeah, he might be able to take some people, but it's really going to take, I think, a special skill to take down Daryl because he's been fighting for the last 10 years while, from what we can tell, Quinn has been having other people do his dirty work and living in comfort, so he's not going to be much of a challenge for Daryl. Daryl knocks him out. He's thinking about killing him, but he kind of sees how Laurent does not want this, being that Laurent is a child of God. He has a high belief, and obviously, too, because he believes that he is his father, and even though Quinn has kind of proved himself to be a really manipulative person, I want to say that he probably is, without a doubt, Laurent's father because of just the way he tried to get rid of Lily during the whole thing, and once realizing that she's pregnant, he probably knew right then and there that that was his kid, so he assumed if he got rid of her, he got rid of the problem. But, so they leave him. Then we get Daryl and Laurent at this meeting point where they're going to meet up with Isabel, get on a boat within the river to get out of Paris. Now here is where it kind of gets kind of fucked up, I guess, where Isabel realizes that because the entire city is becoming surrounded with Madame Gene's troops or forces or what have you, that they're going to be trapped in that city. So she's made the decision that she's going to go back to Quinn to kind of offer herself up to be there and to give Daryl and Laurent and their makeshift escape routes a real chance to get out of the city. And so it, like I said, kind of a filler episode. We don't get a whole lot of reveal other than the fact that I think we can count on this point that Quinn is actually Laurent's father, because he does make an attempt to really, I guess, kind of bond with him, but I think it's really all a ruse. He wants to use him as a bargaining chip, as ransom, or whatever you want to call it. He has no real attachment to this kid. He doesn't want to get to know him. He wants to have him because Madame Gene does want this kid. This is kind of a thing. She's on the search for him too, where she wants to eliminate what could be a threat to her power because so many people believe that Laurent is what they say, that he's this miracle child, that he can bring back the world to what it used to be, that he has a higher calling. He could form, or he could have a mass of people follow him, and that would then take away her power. So she wants to find this kid, maybe just to kill him or maybe just to capture him for the sake of not letting him be out there to possibly ruin what she has. Because I can see that Madame Genet, she is a very scary person. She is intimidating. She is possibly someone that just should flat out not be crossed, because I think she will lash out and kill anybody that does. So, just, again, not really a whole lot to go with this episode. It was another good episode, though. They did not really put in useless information. It was all more backstory to all these characters. Madame Genet, Condron, Quinn, and everything that happened with him, and we're going to kind of get more reveal on that in the next episode. Now, and I'll do a kind of breakdown for the next episode clips, but as far as all of the flashbacks to get kind of how Daryl got there in the first place, I think they're going to probably save that for the last 2 episodes, because we are 4 in with 2 left to go, and maybe they could see a big reveal at the end of the last episode, or maybe even at the end of this next episode. Whatever they do, I hope they don't end it on a cliffhanger, because yes, we know we're getting a season 2, but that's the last thing I want to deal with right now. But anyways, it was a good episode, just like all the others. It's really more and more build up with each episode. It's not leaving you disappointed by any means. But I think that will do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my review, my thoughts on the show and on this episode. I can't wait for the next one. My next video will be a breakdown of the episode 5 tease that we got at the end of this last one. So be on the lookout for that. So until next time, guys, please leave comments, please leave likes, and if you feel so inclined, as always, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.